In a world with good watches, bad watches, and a whole lot of nit, how can a man survive? Insights, analysis, My Watches with Ben.
Welcome to My Watches with Ben, where I talk about watches in my personal collection, I review them, and I also do these analysis videos like today. Today, what we're analyzing, the watch type, is simple dress watches. Watches with 2 or 3 hands. You know, maybe they have a date. Date is not great, but maybe they have it anyway. And this is the second out of 6 price ranges. It's the affordable price range, $200 to $400. It's what I'm calling affordable. In contrast to last week, we've got a lot more notable brands in this one. We have Seiko, we have Citizen, Rotary, Bulova, lots of brands that you're probably aware of. Timex, Orient, that darn Bambino. A lot of brands in here, and yeah, a brief pitch for what you'll get out of my analysis. You know, everyone likes that darn Orient Bambino. It turns out that thing is thick. It's actually kind of large. You know, I try to cut through the hype and just look at the stats. Look at the specifications of the watch. You know, what size are they at? What's inside? What movements? All these sorts of things. I have a very rigorous process here. I'm looking at basically every element I can find. There is a video that explains how I do all the scoring. I'm not going to get into that in this one. I'm just going to show you the results of my analysis. And the thing is, when you do an analysis like this and you're just looking at numbers on a page and you know, visual attributes of the watch, that only gets you so far. So at the end of the video, when I do the top 10, I take into account other things. Which watches are more masculine? Because some of these watches that score really well end up being kind of feminine. That's not necessarily what you want. I think you want your man's dress watch to be manly. So that's kind of the assumption here. I take into account how formal it looks, because the point of the simple dress watch is to be suitable for formal events. You know, I'm wearing this kind of oversized blue blazer here, and you want a watch that's going to fit with that. You want a watch that's going to look appropriate. We've got beautiful watches today, some really good ones. This price range is nice. It's a major step up from the budget. All right, let me show you the overall results of this price range. Here are the scores, and I put it on an American grading system, and it's pretty even, actually. For the good grades, A- through B-, 33% of the watches fall into there. We've got some that actually cracked the A grade. In the last one, none of them got above 86. That was the highest score in the last one. This price range is better. We're meeting the requirements of the dress watch. And some of it has to do with brand strength, because you know, if it's a well-known brand, that gets a few more points than if it's not a well-known brand. And then 35% are C plus C. They're okay watches. You can use them. They're going to be all right. I can't remember if Bambino makes it in there. We will see if the Bambino makes it. These are okay. They will work. A lot of people probably say they're fine dress watches. I think they're just okay, the ones with the C plus and the C. And then C minus and below, 32%. Actually the lowest of all 3. Interesting. If I didn't say, there's 142 watches. So this is a good chunk. This is a good chunk, and it made a nice normal looking distribution here. The red ones, yeah, I don't recommend them. My recommendation for you is to go with greens. There's some exceptions, and in fact in the top 10 at the end, I think some of the yellows made it to the top 10. So the scoring system is not everything. I think the reason people like these videos I put up is because it's so comprehensive. And because it is so just fact-based. Like, how does it score? How well is the watch literally designed on paper? Then you can incorporate more of those intangibles. Just how does the watch speak to you? Stuff like that. But if you watch the whole darn thing, you're going to see 142 dress watches in the 200 to 400 price range. These are just simple. There's no moon phases. There's no retrogrades. There's no jump hours. There's no perpetual calendars. I'll do those in future videos. Today, just simple. I think that's enough of an intro, and we can start going through the watches. Please use timestamps, especially if you just want to know the top 10. The top 10 are the 10 best. No question. It's indisputable, undebatable, cannot be debated. Well, you can debate me if you want, but the top 10 will be at the end. I'm going to start here on the left and go all the way to the right, watch by watch. Start with the top 5 scoring watches, go all the way down the bottom, and then the top 10's at the end. Hope you enjoy. 5th place is the Rotary Ultra Slim Index. I don't remember the number. If you need it, just send me a comment. But it's $227. It's 38 across. 5.7 thick. They mean ultra slim. That is very slim. That is excellent. Beautiful pattern on the dial. Call it guilloche. This might be misspelled. Is there a T at the end? My goodness. Somebody commented that guilloche has to be done with a Rose engine lathe. Okay, that's not what they did here. They stamped it or something, but you get the same effect to the eyes. It's beautiful, really cool, interesting dial. It's a little bit plain. You get the two-tone thing going on here. I think they have a gold one. Might have a picture of that. It's quite simple. No second hand. That is wonderful. Don't like a second hand on a dress watch. It's not just that I don't like it. Dress watches are not supposed to have one. Because the idea is you're doing something more elevated and you shouldn't be counting the seconds tick by as you're doing this. It's supposed to be for leisure. You don't need the date either. That should be gone. But this thing gets a 90, even with the date. Date is a penalty. Where is it? Oh, it's just a -2. Wow, maybe I should have penalized date more. But I didn't. It's a balance because some people love the date. And it's like, I mean, I'm going to penalize it. I don't think there should be a date on a dress watch. It's a neat one, score of 90. Fourth place is the Seiko SWR 064. $225, 32.8 presence, and thickness of 6.2. Okay, so the presence is based on the height and the width, and just converting it to what a circle would be. It's gonna be kind of like a 33. The watch on my wrist is a 32. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know what it is, but you look at dress watches, it's just not the same as other watch types. You can go really, really small, and it doesn't look weird whatsoever. Let me show you a mock-up. So I have a 7¼ inch wrist. This is mocked up to the proper dimensions that it would be if I had this watch. That's the presence it would look like on the wrist. Oh, this should say 32.8. All right, these might be for a different watch. My bad. But that's what it would look like on the wrist. Totally suitable. That's a great dress watch size. I don't know if I ever even mentioned this. 30 meters mineral crystal. I mean, mineral crystals is a big penalty. There's no magnetism protection. So yeah, it gets a little protection score. That stuff's not that important. It's a very small part of the scorecard. You still get an A- even if you have really poor protection. Excels in everything else. Great brand strength. It looks very elegant. This is a solid one. Score of 91. Third place. Beautiful watch. The Seiko Dolce SACM 150. Dolce means sweet. It's $347, 33.5 across. Thickness of 5.3. Sweet watch. I'll show some other pictures going by. In some lighting, it looks a little weird. Their product shot actually looks awful. I think this is JDM, so if you go on Sakura watches, you can see it there. The product image looks awful. But if you look at images people have taken in better lighting, it's a stunning watch. It's really beautiful. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is their product image on Sakura watches. Very yellow looking. It looks kind of weird. The size is excellent on this one. It's going to be great for a dress watch. One downside, major downside, is that second hand. They took that off, this would have a score of 95. It does not need a second hand, but still an incredible watch. We've got a couple that score a little bit higher. Let me show you those now. I have to go back for a second. The Dolce was 5.3. I said the words, but I didn't register. 5.3 is insane. Crazy thin. That's nuts. Second place is the Citizen Serato. $255, 38.4 across, 6 thick. So thin. Solar movement. You know, I thought this was just brown. If you look at other images of it, it's actually a pink dial. For a man, you probably want the blue dial, or perhaps the gray. But it's got this cool linen dial, very minimal text. There's no minute track or anything. It's very streamlined. The tiniest little crown you've ever seen. That's good for a dress watch. You don't need a gigantic crown. But the case is a little weird though. It's kind of angular and it is brushed here. And brushed, it's not the dress look. While this one does really well on paper, there's some things lacking with it in the dressiness. It is kind of on the larger size too. I didn't penalize 38 because some guys like that size. For me personally, I like the smaller ones, 35, 34, 33. Those to me are really good sizes for a dress watch. If you want more presence, 38 is definitely still good. In my scoring system, I determined that was totally fine. Here it is on the wrist. It's getting on the larger size for a dress watch. It's not bad. It's not getting to bad yet. You know, it's still not covering the entire wrist or anything, but it's starting to get a little large. I showed it here on a black strap so you could see how you could kind of masculinize this a little bit, because that brown strap they had before was not great. That's my second place, just for scores. First place, number one, scoring is the Citizen Stiletto. 395 bucks, 39 across, only 6.1 thick, very thin. It's got a cool pattern, really beautiful pattern here on the dial. It's got that solar movement, that's nice. The strap is a little feminine. I think it would look better on a black strap. And like the Serato, the case is brushed here, and it's kind of angular. I mean, Citizen is just doing their thing that they do, but that's one place where this one lacks. It's got good specs. The case itself is a little bit rough. Those were my top 5. These are the top 5 scoring watches in this price category. Now let's go through all the rest of them. In 6th place is the Rotary Ultra Slim Roman. It's basically the same as that last watch, but it has Roman numerals. And it scores exactly the same. So I don't have much to add with this one. It is very slim. That is awesome. This one has a really beautiful dial as well. Different pattern than that last Rotary. Last Rotary had kind of a sunbursty cut thing going on. This one's a little bit more elegant. Really nice one. No secondhand or anything. That date is an eyesore. Don't care for the date. Score of 90. 7th place, the one that I teased from that first video, the Daniel Wellington Marlin Linen. 209 bucks, 37.9 presence, and it's 6 thick. And the presence is based again on the area. It's interesting. It's not super formal. The text, it should be lighter or something. Be nice if this was just like a light brown or something, maybe a tan, rose gold lettering, something like that would be a lot nicer. I think part of their thing is they really want their branding out there for people to see, but that is kind of an eyesore. But all the specs score super well. Something a little bit different. This is the highest scoring Daniel Wellington, score of 89. 8th place, another beauty from Seiko. Seiko really does well in this price category. It's the Seiko Essentials SRK 050. $212, 39 across, 8 thick. So again, could be on the larger size for some guys. I have a 7¼ inch wrist, so it's gonna fit me pretty well. For dress watch, I think it's starting to get a little big. I really like the aesthetics of it. The hands are very classic. You know, it kind of seems like a pocket watch sort of thing with the small seconds and these old school hands. And the Romans, you get your 4 lines for 4 instead of IV. That is cool. That's the watchmaker's 4. Gives it more balance with the 8 over here. The stepped case design here looks really nice. A little more masculine. It's a good one. Score of 88. 9th place is the Mr. Jones Beam Me Up. $303, 37 across, 10 thick. So cool. The little beam from the UFO is the minute hand, and it goes around. And then the little pig is the hour hand. So it's very subtle. It's very interesting. I have a Mr. Jones watch. Mine is a jump hour, so it's not going to be in this video, but I really like the artwork that they have. It's whimsical. It's actually really beautiful. This one really pops. You know, on a dress watch, usually you want something more muted, but I think you can make a case that dress watches have license to do something a little more fun sometimes. And if you're looking for a fun dress watch, absolutely check out Mr. Jones' catalog. You know, there's no text. It's a sterile dial. There's no minute marks or anything. It's not designed for precision timekeeping. The point of it is to just look really cool, and you can tell the time with it. And it's just a little bit quirky, a little bit unique. Yeah, I really enjoy that. And this one's a quartz. The one on my wrist is an automatic, so it's kind of thick. 10 is not going to be too bad. It's starting to get a little bit thick for a dress watch, but 10 is still workable. Once you start getting 11, 12 and stuff, that's when it's really starting to seem way too thick for a dress watch. This one is thicker than I'd like to see, but again, it's workable. Total score of 88. 10th place is the HZ watches, HZ03, blue marble. 279 bucks, 36 across, 11.5 thick. So it's a little bit thick. It's getting too thick. That's a problem. They get a lot of other stuff right, though. Grade 5 titanium, that's wonderful. The aventurine dial is really nice. I mean, if you're going titanium, yeah, go for grade 5. Grade 5 is so nice. It's a lot more scratch resistant. It has some other qualities that are superior to grade 2. And yeah, your small seconds has a little tiny blue marble, or a little earth on here, going around once every minute. That's a really cool thing to do. Definitely like this brand. Score of 88. 11th place is the Trussardi. A ton of numbers. 279 bucks, 34 across, 7 thick. Dimensions are great. Bracelet is kind of a problem. Oh, they give you a strap with it though, If you get this watch, it comes with the leather strap in addition to the bracelet. So you can swap that thing right off the bracelet. That's going to be more suitable for a dress watch. And yeah, you see the difference right here. The leather strap looks a lot more formal than the bracelet. Bracelet's just a little bit more casual. It's not quite the right look for formal events. If you really want that formal look, it's better to go with the leather. You've got diamonds on the dial. Well, I don't know if they're real diamond, but little jewels applied here. I think that's fine. I have a watch. Probably my favorite dress watch is this Vostok Retro. It's got diamonds on it. I think you could wear diamonds as a man. It's not a problem. It is a little bit more on the feminine side. Total score of 88. 12th place is the Kuoe Oldsmith 90-001. 368 bucks, 35 across, 10 thick. And the price, if you go on their website, it'll say 405. If you add it to your cart and you go to checkout, it goes down to 368. There's no discount or anything. I think there's just something wrong with the website. These are actually $368. They have a ton of different versions of this, different dial colors. You can get it with just a regular steel case, not gold PVD. I really like Kuoe. It's nice and small. 35 is ideal. I didn't mock up all the watches. This one I did. And I think 35 is the best size for just a round dress watch. It looks great on my 7¼ inch wrist. I think 35 is really what people should be going for with dress watches. Size is one of those things, you know what works for you. But if you haven't tried a smaller watch for a dress watch, definitely give it a try because it makes a lot more sense. It really fits it well. Okay, this one has a bow tie because it's going to be one of the finalists. At the end, there's 25 finalists that compete in subjective rounds. Yeah, I forgot to mention. So the top 10, numbers 1 through 5, and numbers 6 through 10, all of these are going to the finalists. But then I've chosen 15 specific other watches to join them. And when I get in higher price categories, I may need to increase that number, have more competing. This was really nice, just to have 25 competing. In the past, I've done 50, and it's a lot harder to rank 50 watches on different subjective categories. We'll see how that goes, but for this video, there's just 25, and this is one of them. This is a fantastic dress watch. See how it does at the end, whether it makes it to the top 10. Score of 87. 13th place is the Burberry BU 9407. 349 bucks, 32.1 presence, and thickness of 8. Clearly designed for women, but I think a man could wear it too, particularly if you swap it off the strap. Only 25 millimeters left to right, but it's 33.3 here to here. Lug width is almost 48. So it takes up the whole wrist. It's just very, very narrow. So very long lugs. If I factored that in, this presence might be a little higher, but I just took the rectangle. Just took the rectangle of the watch head and kind of discounted the lugs. These Burberry watches look pretty cool, actually. In different lighting and stuff, they look nice. Score of 87. 14th place is the Daniel Wellington Petite. 219 bucks. It's a 36 across and 6 thick. Daniel Wellington does make a 40, but I think for a dress watch, 36 is way better than a 40. So this is kind of their ladies version. Kind of have to dip into ladies watches to get the correct dress watch sizes. Again, the branding is a little bit much here. If you like the branding, that's great for you, or if you can see past it, that works. Otherwise, this is very prominent branding. No minute track, no second hand, no date or anything. That's what you want with a dress watch. It's very clean. If you choose this one as a dress watch, it'll be a good dress watch. No question there. Total score of 86. 15th place is the Rotary Heritage GS 05309. And it is 37 left to right, 37 top to bottom as well. But I'm saying it has a feel of a 39.5. And it's feel because it's not really a full square. If you make these lines straight, it's too big. It would be too big. And I explained this in the scoring system, how I do this. I think it has a feel more of like a 40 millimeter, not a 44 or something that would be if you just converted it to a circle. They offer a few different colors here, which is the silver dial with the rose gold applied indexes. Date, unfortunate. I mean, Rotary just likes to put dates on there. And most people want a date on their watch. So kind of need to give the people what they want. This one's looking pretty masculine, and it has a bow tie. It's going to the finalists. Total score of 85. 16th place is the Swarovski Clerica. A lot of diamonds on this one. Or crystals, rather. Swarovski crystals. $380, 35 across, great size, 9.5 thick. Very feminine looking swan at the 12 o'clock. Very thin lug width. That's kind of a problem, for a man's watch, you want more strap. I think this would look a lot better for a man if it had wider lugs. Still technically an option, I suppose. I did exclude a lot of the women's watches if they were just too feminine. This one slipped through. Maybe I should have excluded it. Score of 85. 17th place is the Festina F20018-1, $255, 39.3 across, 6.7 thick. So one of the larger ones again. Nice small crown, low contrast to it. 3 lines of text. That's not as good as just 2 lines of text, but could be worse. Comes with a nice stamped leather strap. It's very thin. Lot to recommend it. Score of 85. 18th place, a beautiful one. The Seiko Essentials SWR 052. $225. 33.6 millimeter presence and 6.1 thick. Yeah, I think this is a staple. I mean, I was in Sam's Club the other day and they had this one for like $125. I was tempted to pick it up because this is a really good one. It's got the bow tie. It'll be a finalist. Really great dress watch. It's looking masculine. Clearly inspired by the Cartier tank. At this point, though, there are so many that have this square shape, that have the Romans. Do we have to say they're all Cartier inspired? I don't think that's really fair. Well, maybe it is fair, because like with dive watches, most of them kind of look like the Rolex Submariner. And I'm sure that's just because Rolex did such a great job, everyone copies it. Definitely not a copy of the tank. Unlike a lot of Seikos, very minimal text. Just Seiko. And then you have to look really closely to see this tiny little lettering down here. But that's good. I like the minimal text. Great brand strength. You know, Seiko is one of the top 3, I think, watch brands there are. Cool cabochon crown. This is a really nice one. And it comes out of the box on this nice black leather strap, which I think is the best for formal. Black is just more versatile than brown. Brown, unfortunately, you know, it's not going to work with... A lot of times you're not going to wear the brown belt. I find myself wearing the black belt more than I wear a brown belt, for example. You'd like your watch band to match the color of your belt and your shoes. So black is more versatile. So a score of 84. 19th place is the Claude Bernard Slimline 32. It's $314, 32 across, 7 thick. What a lot of people would consider a lady's size, a 32, but it's looking masculine. It's not looking like a lady's watch. So that's good. Even though it might be on the ladies' page of their website. That's why we have to dip in, because a lot of times good men's dress watches are often on the ladies' page. Minimal printing, no date, no second. It's solid. They have a lot of different colors on this one too. Total score of 84. 20th place is the Bulova Classic 96B442, $263. Presence of 35, thickness of 6.1. They're doing the petite patisserie, or what do you call it? I forget. The petite. So they've kind of got the Audemars Piguet dial, but more of a Cartier tank, you know, situation here. They've got their tuning fork at the top. You get that with the Bulova. Unsightly date is not needed. It's one reason it's 84 and not higher. I guess I already established that only is a 2-point factor, though. I think I'm having regrets. I should have penalized date higher. That's okay. Everything's a balance. Then I'd have to make it up somewhere else to still keep that normal distribution. Oh yeah, most unsightly thing is the ticking quartz second. I think that's the first one. It's not the first one. The rotary, 15th place, also had a ticking quartz second. Yeah, I gotta look at the details. That's a problem. Ticking quartz second is bad. That's a -4 on here. That's why you're seeing all this here. Oh, and the water resistance too. They don't state it on the website. They just say water resist. Some listings on other websites do say 20. So it's got low water resistance, lower than most. This is definitely a cool one. Total score of 84. 21st place is the Rotary Heritage Astoria. $214, 35.2 presence, thickness of 7. I really like the smooth case here. And they do have a version of this with Arabic numerals instead of the Romans, but all the other dimensions are the same. The gold hands are really striking. I like that they did that. The recessed crown is really nice, just makes it really smooth, streamlined. This is a great presence. That's not going to be a problem whatsoever. It's 40 lug to lug, so it's not going to feel tiny. They kept it classy with the text. Rotary's good with that. They don't put a ton of text on the dial. Border, date window, better than no border, but I'd prefer no date at all. I have a watch that's similar to this. Mine broke though. The bracelet broke. Mine has little date at the bottom. It never bothered me when I had it. It was fine. Some months the date would be off because I never looked at it. It was so tiny. You know, so sometimes the date would get off. It's just better if it's not there, in my opinion. not the end of the world. So maybe -2 is appropriate. It's not the worst thing in the world. Still a beautiful watch, and it'll be a finalist. Total score of 83. 22nd place, the Gavox Stellar Navy. $247, 36 across, 7.9. I didn't know Gavox made a dress watch, but somehow I found this one. Nice pattern, really nice elongated Roman numerals, cool brigade hands, classy fonts and everything. I could do without all these numbers on the outside. That is an eyesore. I don't think they need it. It's very classic though. They went for a classic look and I think they nailed it. And it's not too huge either. It kind of looks huge on the screen to me, but it's only a 36. Really cool one. And the owner to Gavox has actually reached out to me a couple times because I've put some of his watches up before. So it seems like a really nice guy. Total score of 83. 23rd place is the Daniel Wellington Sheffield. $229, 40 across, 7 thick. This one's harder to find, the one with the small seconds. It is a 40, so that's getting big. Getting a little too big for a dress watch. A little too big. That's why it's only getting a -2. Again, I had to soften some of this stuff to get that normal distribution to match my results to what's literally out there. And a lot of the watches just are 40 or even bigger. So I wanted to evaluate whether they stood on other things. You know, size is not the only factor. Some guys like a larger one. This is a classy looking Daniel Wellington. No date or anything. I think that's part of their design. And strangely, they were successful off of just, hey, let's just do something ultra minimalist. And it worked. People like it. I think it's really good for a dress watch. Total score of 83. 24th place is the So & Co. Madison 5522. It's $279, 35 across, 7.5 thick. Gigantic metal thing on the strap. It's on both sides. That's interesting. I do like the dial. The Sunburst Silver is looking really good. Sunburst in bright colors, I'm not a huge fan because the colors vary so much depending on the lighting. I think silver would be good. New York, yeah, they kept it classy. Definitely a good one. Total score of 83. 25th place, this is a cool one. The Makina M330G. It's $220, 38 across, 7.5 thick. Completely sterile dial, no indexes at all, no minute markings, nothing. No text, no date, just totally clean. I think that's a really cool look. This would look great with a tuxedo. And the lugs are actually underneath the watch, so if you put it on a leather strap, the leather will just go right here. You're not going to get this piece of metal sticking out. It'll just be a circle with leather, and it's just a lugless design. I think that would look really good with a tux. Just totally simple. In general, white dials are preferred. I think you can make a case for black. Most often when I'm wearing a tux, I do end up wearing this black Vostok. So black is fine for a tux. This will be another finalist. Really cool avant-garde, maybe. I really like the mix of the brushed and the polished parts. It's just got a really cool look to it. It's really striking, really distinctive. I like this one a lot. Score of 82. 26th place is the Ixdao VD78 dress. It's $279, 37 across, 9.7 thick. Ixdao, you know, it could be worse. There are worse Chinese watch brands. T-Winner, for example. Ixdao, you can tell it's Chinese. They're not hiding that part of it. I think that's fine. That's what I would prefer. If it's some Chinese brand, just give it like a Chinese type of a name. So that's fine. The Arabics are really nice. The 4 with the little plus here. Got a really cool pattern on the dial. This gigantic club hour hand looks so good. Looks like they give you a really nice strap with it too. Tasteful small seconds, a different pattern in there. This is a beautiful one. No brand strength to speak of. I like that you get a couple indexes here. Minimal text, half railroad track. Looks pretty tasteful. Total score of 82. 27th place, another Burberry, the BU 9133. $299, 34 millimeters across, 8 thick. And I think this watch does have the fabric pattern on it too, like their other ones, like their handbags. The watch itself does not look totally feminine. You know, it's got thick lugs, it's got a thick bezel. It works as a man's watch, definitely. The pattern is pretty cool on the dial too. It's a good one, but it does have that ticking seconds, unfortunately. Score of 82. 28th place is the Michael Kors Piper. $207, 38 millimeters, 7 thick. Got some little diamond things around here. Again, looking a little feminine, well, particularly on the strap. I mean, what man wants to wear a pink strap? I suppose you can. I wear a pink dial watch fairly often. I don't think I would go for the pink strap though. That's a bit much. You can all swap straps. They may offer it on different straps too. They have some different colors as well. Total score of 82. 29th place is the Devosa Amaranto. And you'll need these numbers if you want this specific one. It's $250, 39 millimeters, 7.2 thick. The dial is really, really pretty. I don't know exactly what they did here. I really like the three-dimensional nature here of like the hour track out here. And you see some shots from different angles. It looks really excellent. Hands are clearly finished very well. Again, could do without the date, but it's all right. Biggest problem is that ticking central second. That does get a penalty. Classy looking watch, score of 82. 30th place is the Sidegren Patriarch, $215, near the bottom of the prices. 36 millimeters across, 7 millimeters thick. Yeah, it's a suitable dress watch. Not particularly exciting, but it'll get the job done. It's an interesting little logo here, like a stick or something. Never heard of Sidegren before, but here it is. Total score of 82. 31st place is the Vair C1 Ceremony, $349, 36 across, 8.5 thick. Comes on that Jubilee bracelet. That's not ideal. The only other alternative from Vair is a silicone strap, which is also not ideal. You know, neither one is the best. Prefer a black embossed strap. But the watch itself is really cool. It's very striking, very shiny gold. You know, like the Tony Soprano thing, just all gold, everything. The Vair is nice because it's a little different take on it. They have kind of a coin edge thing going on, which looks like it's under the crystal. They've got Roman numerals, very small. So I didn't put anything about that on here because they're very small Roman numerals. But I think it classes it up a little bit. I like these indexes. They're very highly polished, really beautiful. Gold sunburst, small seconds with no markings. That's great. Very classy. The only text is Vair. I do really like this watch brand. And they gave it 100 meters water resistance. Gave it a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. And we haven't seen a ton of that in this price range. I haven't been harping on the protection that much, but this one does really well for that. Screw down crown is not ideal for dress watches, but that's how they get to the 100. That's one of their design philosophies. They just want all their watches to be ocean ready. So if you're a surfer, you can wear this dressy watch into the ocean. Yeah, I really like this one. It was almost a finalist. Didn't quite make it though. Score of 81. 32nd place is the Movado Face. $395, 39 across, 12 thick. We'll see more Movados in the next price range. You know, this is kind of at the top of this one. I really like the little circle they have here at the top of their watches. They don't have it on all the watches, but a lot of their watches do have that signature circle at the top. They like really sterile dials. It comes in a ton of colors. One thing I really don't understand is why it's 12 millimeters thick. It's a quartz movement. There's only 2 hands. Like, how is it 12? That is insane. Yeah, it's as thick as a Rolex Submariner that has 300 meters water resistance. So I don't know what's going on here. So yeah, the thickness is perplexing, but everything else about it is great. Total score of 81. 33rd place is the Lip Himalaya Classique 35. $234, 35 across, 10.8 thick. And yeah, I didn't realize this till I was pulling pictures, but they actually have a gold one. Gold indexes, gold case. I think that's the way to go for a dress watch. Silver is okay too, and it's up to personal preference. Gold just works well with formal. Obviously, you do you, but yeah, my point is gold PVD gets 1 point over just the naked steel. So this would have been a score of 82 if I scored the gold one. The size is excellent. Lip is a French brand. My brother-in-law lives in Belgium, and he has a Lip watch. I think it's his only watch, but I saw that thing, and I was really intrigued. I was like, what is Lip? I'd never heard of them. More common in Europe, definitely. Cool brand. I like their design. Yeah, solid French brand. I like what they do. Total score of 81. 34th place is the Swatch Bubbly and Bright. $240, 38 across, 5.8 thick. So very thin, extremely thin watch. For some reason, they loomed these hands. Yeah, and they loomed the 24 indexes. I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me. I really like the pattern on here. Like, gosh, what was that toy? What was that toy called? My daughter has one. Is it an Etch-a-Sketch? No, it's not an Etch-a-Sketch. Anyway, the toy where you have the rings and you put the marker in and you make the patterns. Looks like they did that with this one. Really like the pattern. The bracelet is so weird here, though. This looks so cheap and bizarre. I don't know why they attach it that way instead of just using regular spring bars. But I think it's permanent too. I don't think they want you changing it. So that's unfortunate. It's a cool watch though. Score of 81. 35th place is the Jura D1 Milano Ultra Thin. $395. Saying it has a 33.3 presence. And the thickness is only 6.5. So they were right. It is ultra thin. Doing the integrated bracelet thing. I think they do offer it on some other strap options, but it's going to be a weird situation. Can't do off-the-shelf straps with this one. It's a striking watch. And even on the bracelet, which has a huge penalty, it still gets a score of 81. Still a good grade dress watch. 36th place is the Jacques Le Mans Derby. $256, 34 across, 8 thick. Got the fluted bezel, mother of pearl dial, little diamond indexes. Again, not real diamond, probably. But why did they put lume on the hands? It's totally bizarre. It detracts from the watch. There shouldn't be lume on the hands, and you don't need it in the dark. You know, if there's some sort of attack on the award ceremony you're attending, you just have to know exactly what time it is in the dark. They're probably not even going to be charged. These are such thin strips of lume. I don't think that's necessary. All it does is detract. And the date window's looking bad too. Strap looks rough with the white stitching. That's not good. The stitching should be brown. Ticking seconds is an eyesore. But I still am saying it's a good grade dress watch. Everything was a balance. It's not at the top. It's still a suitable dress watch. I mean, my grandpa's watch that I need to get this thing fixed. My grandpa's Technos. This one has lume on it. It has a sweeping seconds. It has a date window. Still a good dress watch. Just not the ideal. Ideal would be take that second hand off, get rid of the date window, no lume on the hands. All right, I won't harp on that. That's my stance. 37th place. Really cool one. The Area Nostalgia Clock Tower. $329, 33.3 presence, 9 thick. And it's a 30 by 30. But again, that wears larger than 30 millimeters. The presence is going to be a little bit bigger. Beautiful watch. Someone specifically asked me to do this one. It was actually already in the spreadsheet, but clearly my viewers know about this. This is something really cool with a square or rectangular watch. They kept a circle for the actual dial face, and then they put engraving here. And it looks so nice. And they've got these little columns here. It's looking very architectural, looking like a clock tower. Beautiful thing to do. I don't think they needed the word nostalgia. That is unnecessary. Could have just said Area, first edition. Like, we can see from the watch that it's nostalgic. You don't have to point that out with the words. Crown's a little bit big, but I think I still gave it a small crown because the whole thing is pretty small. It's not going to be some gigantic crown, but that could have been a little smaller. I think that would have streamlined it a little bit. But it's kind of a boxy aesthetic. Mother of pearl dial. They also have a champagne dial. They have a green one and a white one. They might have some other colors. Really cool what they're doing here. I really like it. So it's going to be one of the finalists. And it's a hand winding movement. Really cool that they did that. I think I have a picture of that. Total score of 80. 38th place is the Rodania Veve. $356. Presence of 38.6. One of the larger rectangle ones. Thickness of 9. It's not super thin. It's not crazy though. It's definitely thinner watches like the Seiko. So thin. This is still pretty good though. Beautiful pattern on the dial. Again, I'm saying guilloche, but there's no rose engine lathe involved. Nice angled Romans. Tasteful thin railroad track around here. 3 lines of text. Date window we could do without, but it's not horrible. I do like that it's bordered. It's in a nice location. It's not disrupting anything. This one's looking very masculine with the stepped case. It's kind of a little beefy, bold numbers. Good looking dress watch, score of 80. And it'll be a finalist. 39th place is the Emporio Armani AR11664. That might be the one for the steel version, but I found the gold one as well. The gold one has this nice strap, so that made it score a little higher. They did sans serif Romans. You don't see that very much. It's a cleaner look. They've got their little eagle thing, Emporio Armani. It's too bad we don't get the 6. That date window is encroaching on the area where you'd want the 6 to be. That's too bad. It's a fresh look though. $275. Presence of only 31.8 and thickness of 5. Don't be scared though. When you mock these things up, it's not crazy. It really isn't. Yeah, I like this one. No secondhand or anything. Total score of 80. 40th place is the Rotary 1895. It's 228 bucks, 38 across, 9.1 thick. I love the champagne sunburst dial here. The date is sticking out like a sore thumb so badly. We don't need that. I'm sure some of the thickness is due to the crystal, domed crystal. Domed crystal does make it harder to slide under the cuff. It looks really cool, but there's a downside to it as well. Unfortunately, you have the ticking central seconds. That's too bad. It's a really nice one though. Otherwise, I like everything about it. Total score of 80. 41st place is the Burberry BU 9013, $349. This one is a 38 millimeter and it's 8 thick. Similar to the other Burberrys, but this one, again, it's a 38. The brown looks really nice on this actually. It's a cool color. Will it go with all your suits? One really nice thing about a white dial is it will go with anything you wear. It's never a problem. When you have brown or other colors, it's just not going to go with everything. So if you're a one watch guy, white or black is probably the way to go. Oh, apparently they do have a white one. Interesting. Total score of 80. 42nd place is the Matthew Tissot Monsoon. 230 bucks, 40 across, 7 thick. Getting a little big. Nice mesh bracelet. Those score really well. Those are nice. I definitely enjoy a mesh bracelet. It's comfortable and I think it looks pretty good too. It's a little bit lighter than the other types of bracelets. There's no minute track, no second hand, no date. It's ticking more boxes than the other ones. It does have 3 lines of text. 50 meters water resistance is nice. Total score of 80. All right, the last good grade watch. After this, they're going to be just okay grades. A lot of okay grades. 43rd place, the Citizen Corso. 236 bucks, 40 across, 9 millimeters thick. Eco Drive in dark black lettering. You guys, you could be a little more subtle, and I think that would be a lot better. These could be gray letters instead of dark black. Subtlety is something that's often lacking in watch designs. Just a little bit of subtlety would go a long way, I think. Particularly for dress watches, because they're supposed to be more subtle. It's looking pretty though. Pretty looking watch. Unfortunately, the ticking second and the date. Total score of 80. In 44th place is the Citizen Roland. 316 bucks, 40 millimeters across, 10 thick. You have the day underneath Citizen, and you've got the date down here. Cool pattern on the dial. I like the gold. It's kind of a lighter gold. Unfortunately, they put lume on the hands. That was not needed. Again, the 40 millimeters, a little big. Ticking second. Score 79. 45th place, looking like a Ming, is the Fairsuite Mechanical. 376 bucks, 40 millimeters across, 8.7 thick. I like what they did with the Roman numerals here. They made the Roman numerals look like more Chinese or something. It's cool what they did. The hands look really cool. The dial has a cool texture to it as well. Is this the blue? It's looking pretty purple. There should be a purple on here somewhere. Neat watch. Score of 79. 46th place is the Jacques Le Mans Eco Power. 233 bucks, 38 across, 8 millimeters thick. Very plain looking. It says Solar Apple, which on the green one sort of makes sense, but it says this on the blue and the red too. Solar Apple. There must be a translation issue there. That is very strange. Ticking central seconds. I like the crown. Very smooth though. It might be hard to use. Total score 79. 47th place is the Stuart Dawson Westminster. $349. 40 across, 7.5 thick. I think this is a Watch Gang watch. I don't know if you can find it anywhere else. The picture looks really nice though. Very striking blue on the product shot. Score 79. 48th place, a really cool one, the Timex Marlin 1960s reissue. 208 bucks, 34 across, 10 thick. And that's partially due to the big acrylic crystal they have on it. A nice domed acrylic crystal. I really like the retro look to it. I mean, they say it's from the 60s. It's actually hand winding movement. Probably Chinese hand winding movement. I mean, it's definitely Chinese, but that's really cool. Very small crown. It's going to be tough with the hand winding, unfortunately. The numbers are very stylized. Like the 8 is cut off. Looks really good. Product shots of this look really nice. This is one of the few finalists left that we have in the video. Total score 78. 49th place is the Lobini Small Seconds Micro Rotor. 221 bucks, 40 millimeters across, 8.5 thick. It does have a sapphire crystal. I've mentioned before I owned a Lobini. Crystal was very poor. The worst crystal I've seen on any watch. It was not very clear, and it was super reflective. More reflective than any other sapphire crystal I've ever had. So I couldn't ever get good pictures of the watch. And it had a weird dial too. This one's just a plain dial, so I think that would look better. I do like the Arabics. Are these Breguet Arabics? I forget. They're slightly italicized. That movement is the highlight. That micro rotor movement looks so good. I think they've decorated it as well. That is the reason to get this one. It does lower the thickness. It's only 8.5. The smallest mechanical movements will be either micro rotor or hand winding. The thinnest, rather. And that is really cool to see. Could definitely do without the date. Total score of 78. 50th place is the Waldor & Company Conceptual 37 Antibes. Antibes? I don't know. $339. Presence of almost 40. Thickness of 6.1 millimeters. I really like the look of these Waldors. They're very clean, very shiny case. These lugs are nice too, how they taper here. They make a really good looking watch. Kind of surprised this didn't score higher. There's no date, no second or anything. It's a really classy one. And I think they do have other colors. Their website is not easy to use though. It's a really good looking one. Score of 78. 51st place is the Fowler Bellezza. $285, 40 across, 12 thick. So getting thick. It does have a mecha quartz movement, so that's nice. You'll get a sweeping second instead of a ticking second. Still, we could avoid all that by just taking it off. No date. It's probably easier to manufacture when you have a stone dial. I think they have a green one as well. These are really nice. And stone dials are the flavor of the moment. So there's one place you can get one. Minimal printing, no minute track or anything. Logo is interesting. That's all good. I don't know why it's so thick though. That's a problem. Maybe to accommodate the dial. Maybe the stone is thick. Total score is 78. 52nd place is the Poniger, I'm just calling it painting. $212, 40 across, 11 thick. Got some cool artwork here, the Swiss Alps. Get a day-night indicator for some reason. Small seconds is a windmill, that's really charming. The date is at the 12 o'clock. That's an unusual place to put it, but I like that. It's a very distinctive watch, and I don't think it's copying anything. In the product image, the dial is really like shiny and stuff. I don't think it looks like that in real shots of this thing. Poniger is not a good name either, but I do like these ones. Oh, and there's all this text over here. Forgot to penalize for the text. There's extraneous text over here. Total score of 78. 53rd place is the Agard Dali F2. Maybe for Salvador Dali? I don't know. $320, 33 width right here. And I determined that's kind of the presence as well, because it's not a circle. It's kind of elongated in this funny way, but it's still kind of like a 33. It's a small watch. Thickness of 10 millimeters. Very interesting case shape. Really cool stone dial they have here. The applied name, though, is looking a little bit cheap to me. This doesn't look as high quality as I'd like to see. I don't know why the case is brushed here either. I think that cheapens it. It'd be nice if it was rounded or just smooth, so I don't get the brushing. Total score of 78. 54th place is the Luch Duet. $200, 38.8 presence, because it is a rectangle, and it's 7 thick. The brown hands are really pleasing. You don't see brown hands very often, except at really high price ranges, because there's one maker where, because when you heat treat hands, you can go to blue, you can actually go to kind of a purpley brown, and that's a lot harder to do. These are probably painted, they're probably not heat treated, but it's a cool look. I really like the look of it. Very classy. I'd love to see the Cyrillic, cursive Cyrillic here with Luch, made in Belarus. It's super cool. And again, I mentioned this in the last video, I'll mention it here too. I know there are more Russian dress watches. It's just hard to find the specs of them. Luch offers all their specifications, so you can easily figure out all the stuff I need for scoring, whereas other Russian watches, you can't find that information as easily. Total score is 78. 55th place, an oddball from Citizen, the Citizen Axiom. $340, 40 millimeters across, 8 thick, looking very department store-ish. And I don't know why there's a date here. That is so bizarre. It does not look good. Even the Eco Drive, like that stuff should all be gone. And I didn't do this for any other watches, but I'm going to do it for this one. This exact watch could get all the way up to a score of 92 if they made a few changes. You know, I think that, so the Eco Drive's got to go, date's got to go. If they just put Citizen down here, this whole watch gets up to 92. Take off that other stuff. Sterile dial, remove the date. Reduce the size to 36. Okay, that's a big hurdle. And give it a nice leather strap. That would be so nice. I would love to see that. Put up some other options. They just make Citizen a little smaller. That's slightly better. Full sterile is also really cool. But that's not what they did. They have this weird bracelet. They've got these really thick lugs where you can't even really change the strap. Extraneous text. I mean, when the dial is this minimalist, the text really stands out and does not look great. But it still gets passing grade. It's an okay dress watch, as is. Could be just a great dress watch if they changed up a lot of things about it, made it a better size and all that stuff I said. Total score 78. 56th place is the Mondaine Doppio 33. Doppio meaning double. I don't know what's double about it. It's $320, 33 across, 7.8. I know Doppio's double because I worked at Starbucks. So if you want a Doppio espresso is 2 shots. The dial is really cool. You have to see it from the side. It's got a convex pattern. I like that. Red second, that's bad. It should not be red. And I checked, there's no lume on this, so I don't understand why there's a paddle at the end of the second hand. It's bizarre. Probably the dressiest offering for Mondaine though. Total score 78. 57th place is the Rudiger R3000. $208, 40 across, 10.5. Weird looking case color. All of this is just a strange color. Doesn't look like gold. Doesn't even really look like rose gold. It's just a weird color. But it's still a suitable dress watch. We've got some cool stuff on the dial here. Score of 78. 58th place is the Lip Churchill T18. And this is the quartz one. I think they have a hand winding one as well, but this is the quartz version. $222. Only 29.5 presence. It's a 21 left to right. And then a 32 here to here, 38.5 lug to lug. It's definitely a small one. It's probably one of the smallest ones in the video. I still don't think it's too small though. It did get penalized for its size. You know, it's getting a -4 for being too small, but I still think it's viable. Mocked up on my 7¼ inch wrist. Yeah, it works. It is small. It's very small left to right, but its presence, it's not so bad. Not nearly as bad as you'd think. Yeah, it's still a men's watch, and this will be one of the finalists. I really like the design of it. I don't know what it is about Lip, but I like their logo a lot. The crown is really interesting, very flat crown. It's a really cool one. Score 77. 59th place is the Fairsuite Retro Oval. And I'm saying 38 because it's 38 left to right, but its feel is a lot bigger. It's $380, feel of 42 basically. So it's a lot of watch here. Thickness of 10.7. Yeah, whoever's modeling this on our shot right here, it's taking up most of that wrist. Crown is a little too big. I didn't say large, I said medium. To get a large crown, what do you have to do to get a large crown? Yeah, maybe that should have been a large crown. But I have chosen this to be a finalist. Really beautiful pattern, nice little applied balls around the minute track. I like this a lot. Score 77. 60th place is the Fortuna Lenny. $299, 34 across, 10.4 thick. Looking very classy. The shot is so sleek, so clean and sleek. Your mileage may vary with the actual watch. Loomed hands here is not great. Ticking seconds, not great. They get a lot right here. Total score is 77. 61st place, another Festina. It's the 20012/2. $225, 39.3 across, 9 millimeters thick. Looking pretty classy. Not particularly exciting, but you don't need exciting with a dress watch. It's okay if it doesn't have a ton of character. Total score is 77. 62nd place is the Balmain Beleganza. $350, 40 millimeters across, 7.6 thick. And there should be some more colors up here. I think there's a blue one or something. Again, this is one of those websites where instead of having one page with all the colors shown and you can kind of choose your favorite, they make you go through all these different menus to find the watches. Some watches don't even sort them by line, so it's like you see 200 watches, you have to scroll through all of them to find out what the colors are. So I think I missed the blue one. Yeah, taking second, date. Still looking pretty classy. Score 77. 63rd place is the Egaloser Budapest. $257, 40 millimeters across, 10 millimeters thick. Very striking sunburst dial here. They say 80 hours power reserve. They say it's an in-house movement. So I'll take their word for that. Automatic in-house movement from Egaloser. The date is enormous. I think that's because it's all the way up on the outside. And they made the date window kind of long. But that looks cool. It's probably going to look weird when there's 2 digits, though. How do you fit 22 in here? You know, where that 8 is. It's going to look weird. The 8 looks great, though. It's a pretty one. Score 77. 64th place is the Melbourne Flinders Heritage. $339, 40 across, 7.5 thick. They've got the minute Arabics. You don't need that. I don't understand why they did that. Cool pattern here in the middle. Yeah, it's all right. It's an okay grade. Score 77. 65th place from Mark at Long Island. It's the Islander Astoria ISL 262. Put the dimensions here because it's an odd shape. I'm saying the feel is around 38.6 millimeters. $329, 9.2 thick. Cool cathedral hands with pretty dial here. It says Islander here in the 6. That's pretty cool. I know you probably can't see it. Okay, we can't even see it in this image, but it does indeed say Islander in the 6. It does have an automatic movement inside, but they managed to keep it at 9.2. Maybe it has the Miota or something. That's great. Score 77. 66th place is the Waldor and Company Original 40 Côte d'Azur. $349, 40 across, 7.3. Like the other ones, very clean shot, very clean picture. Very nice pattern on the dial. I could really do without the minute Arabics, though. That's not needed on a dress watch. Kept the second hand off. That's great. Like the other Waldors, really good looking watch. Score 76. 67th place is the Baltony Business S4090. $318, 38.5, 10 thick. It's got the pie pan, like those old Omegas, pie pan dial. It's really pleasing to see. When I scored this, I thought there was no lume on the watch, but there is Fotina lume here. That's unfortunate. Otherwise, pretty cool looking watch. Score 76. 68th place, the Faller Adrian. $235, 40 across, 9.5 thick. It's a dress watch. Don't need the lume. Score 76. 69th place, the Fairsuite Small Seconds. Looking like FP Journe. $348, 40 across, 8.5 thick. Yeah, it must be an FP Journe homage. Pleasing design that they didn't design. Strap looks bizarre though. Score 76. 70th place is the So In Company. I called it a linen dial, but it's like a denim dial. So that's kind of weird. It's definitely a weird look. It's very large, but they did a lot of the dress watch stuff. They kept the second hand off. There's no date, very minimal printing, no minute track at all. So it's supposed to be kind of dressy, but this particular one looks kind of casual. That slipped through the scoring system. A little bit casual. I suppose you could pull it off. You could probably pull it off with your suit. Score 76. 71st place, the Bulova Classic 96A 133. $221, 40 millimeters across, 6.3 thick. Yeah, 71st place, that means we're halfway through the 142 watches. The last 71 after this, I'll go faster through them. Interesting crown, very minimal text. That was great, Bulova. I like this little pattern on the very outer portion of the dial. Oh, and right here too. So a lot of thought went into this. It's a good looking one. Score 75. 72nd place is the Seiko SUR 314. It says 311, but that's for the black dial steel case. $315, 40.2 across, 8.4 thick. I saw this one at Sam's Club too, and it was a lot cheaper than this. So go to Sam's Club to get a deal on a Seiko. Pretty dial. The gold looks really great. It's an okay dress watch. Score 75. 73rd place. Is this our first Orient? I think it might be. It's the Orient Bambino Solar, the highest ranked of the Orients. Okay, yeah, I was wondering, do Bambinos get into the yellow, or are they lower than that? Well, here we go. C grade exactly. Yeah, something about these Bambinos that just doesn't do it for me. This is a thinner one at 11. It's like their thinnest offering. It's a little bit large for a dress watch. There's way too much stuff here. This is way too busy. I don't understand. And it's so dark too. It's really an eyesore, in my opinion. Their logo, there's so much going on here. You have a ticking second hand. They did keep the date off, so that's good. Most Bambinos have a date. This one does not, so that's good. So I'm saying it's an okay dress watch, not the best. Score 75. Another Orient, at 74th place, the Orient RA. All this stuff you see here. $225, 40 across, 11.9 thick. So now we're in normal Orient territory. 12 thickness, dive watch thickness for your dress watch. It does indeed get the in-house movement bonus because it's an in-house automatic movement. Yeah, it's not inspiring. I don't understand the appeal. Very plain watch. It's suitable. It's just not the best. And yeah, 40 is kind of big. We'll score 75. 75th place, the Orient Bambino version 7. And then this is the specific model number. $290, 40.5 across. So even bigger. 12 thick. Again, dive watch thickness. I had to have one Bambino in the finalists. This is the one I chose. So this will be in the finalists. Has a chance to win. Just because I know how beloved these Bambinos are. I don't get it. This is the most attractive looking one to me. It's got the small seconds. Arabics 12369. Pretty dial. That's all I see though. I mean, the strap looks pretty bad. I mean, Orients just always look cheap to me. Definitely do without the date as well. We'll see how it does. 12 thick. That's crazy. I don't understand. Total score 74. 76th place is the Nixon Optimist. $336, 30.5 across, 9.5 thick. Back down to a normal dress watch size. But it's got this weird bracelet that looks awful. And who knows what this lug width is. This is going to be a 10 millimeter strap or something. It's very tiny. Pretty dial, solar movement, ticking second. You could do worse though. It's still passing the class. Score 74. 77th place is the Romanson Minimalist. $205, 37 millimeters across, 11 millimeters thick. Acrylic crystal, that's cool. Don't see many of those. It's a quartz movement, ticking second. Very prominent minute track here though. That's too much. I don't know why these are so dark. It should be lighter. They should just do applied indices for all the hour marks and just have subtler minute track. That would improve it. Pull that second off. Still suitable. Score 74. 78th place is the Triwa Lock Falcon. Falcon? $219, 38 across, 8.3 millimeters thick. A lot of text here at the 3 o'clock for some reason. Again, don't need the loom. Hands are short, really short. That looks odd. Score 74. 79th place, a Tissot. We got an actual Tissot. It's the Tissot PR100, 34 millimeter. It's $350. 34 millimeters across, 8.3 thick. Yeah, great brand strength for Tissot. Near the top. But the watch itself leaves a lot to be desired. It's kind of an everyday watch, kind of a sporty thing. Got the date, don't need it. Loom, don't need that. Ticking seconds. It's not great. Take it off the bracelet, you could get the score a lot higher though. Yeah, it could be a good grade watch on a leather strap. Could be up to 80, score of 80. But as is, score of 74. 80th place is the Luch Watch Duet. $210. We already covered the Duet. This one just has the date. So I guess that's the only difference. Maybe it's bigger too. Yeah, this one's a different shape. It's a different size. It's 1.2 millimeters thicker than that last one for some reason. But this is viable as well. Passing grade, score 74. In 81st place, we have the Bulva Classic 96015. $244, 38 across, 8 millimeters thick. Again, Bulva water resistance lower than others. I really like the look though. It's very clean, very simple. The lugs are a little bit odd. Got these kind of beetle lugs or something. Go way out there. I think you could swap it to a strap if you wanted to. Definitely a cool one. Very shiny, very silver. So score 74. In 82nd place is the Matthew Tissot City Leather. $231, 42, huge. 8 millimeters thick. It's called it a medium crown. Looks kind of classy. It's just an okay grade though. It's not the best dress watch, but suitable. Score 74. 83rd place is the Devosa Amaranto, and then all these numbers. I think we saw another Amaranto. This one has the Romans. It's $280, 39 across, and 7.2 thick. Or modern sizing here. You've got the ticking quartz second. That's no good. 6 is chopped by the date. You could just remove the date. Another suitable option, not all that exciting. Score 74. All right, 84th place is the Orient Bambino version 7. Did I say the other one was version 7? I'm sorry about getting confused about the versions. I mean, I looked through all the Orient Bambinos and tried to find the ones that would be good. They pretty much all have the dates. But this one's $300, 38.4 across, 12 and a half thick. thicker than the Rolex Submariner. And this is a dress watch. It should not be so. The blued hands look really good against the cream dial. I like that. The date is an eyesore though. That shouldn't be there. This minute track is a little bit prominent as well. I'd like it if, well, I mean, aesthetically, I don't really have major problems with it. It just doesn't perform well. You've got that second hand. I guess that's an aesthetic. I wouldn't like the second hand or the date. I have problems with those. You know, the colors and the printing and stuff. I don't have huge problems with that. I've thought about getting this watch many times. For a while, it was on my plan, my long-term plan to get it. You know, my watch collection plan. I have all these ideas about watches I want to get in the future. And the proof is in the pudding. The ones I'm excited about, I pick up before the other ones. And so when a watch has been sitting there for years and I never want to actually pull the trigger, there's a reason why. It just doesn't quite get it. And now that I've looked at other dress watches, yeah, Orient Bambino is not on the list. It is way too thick. It's even too big, left to right, for me. I think the small ones are much more formal. Sorry to the Orient Bambino fans. I know you guys love the watch. It is charming. It's just not hitting all the marks by any means. It is still suitable. I would wear it. I just think there's better stuff out there. Total score 73. 85th place is the Timex Automatic 1983 E-Line. $239. Presence of 38.4. 12 thick. The Timex is also thick. It's an automatic movement. Who knows what kind. And yeah, it's a little bit thicker. I really like the case. Trapezoidal date cutout is actually pretty cool. A lot of these come on kind of weird bracelets, which apparently is what they had in the 80s. It is a 34 by 34, but definitely wears bigger than 34 due to the case shape. Cool option. I'm glad they're doing this. These are cool designs Timex is pulling out of the vault. Score 73. 86th place is the Timex X Todd Snyder Marlin. $309, 38 across, 13 thick. Wow. Yeah, and green is the only color you can get this thing in. Acrylic crystal, that's cool. I like that Timex does that. I'm a fan of acrylic crystals. 13 thick is crazy though. Got some automatic unadjusted movement in there. I don't remember which one it is, but nothing to get too excited about. It does look very cool. I'll give them that. Score 73. 87th place is the Nixon Time Teller Solar. $242, 40.5 millimeters across, 10.5 thick. Yeah, this cloud kind of pattern here looks really nice. It's an appealing watch, and even on the bracelet, it passed the class. Could do even better if you swap that thing off. It's low quality. Score 73. 88th place is the Timex X Peanuts Marlin Auto. $329, 40 across, 13 thick. Again, like Orient, why are they so big? I don't get it. You know, it's a classy looking watch. It's got one of those automatic movements. If you really like Snoopy, there you go. Snoopy's on here. Total score is 73. 89th place is the De Guzman DG013. $235, 32.9 presence, and 11 thick. Yeah, it's a 25 by 34. Which again, with these rectangle watches, you know, the dimensions are a little misleading. It'll work fine, especially lug to lug, 39 millimeter lug to lug. I think the presence is smaller, but this particular watch, I don't know why I waited so long to say this. This particular watch was requested by a viewer. It's a brand from the Philippines, and you've got Philippine numbering on here. That's really cool. Neat looking watch. Love to see those different brands and just take a look, see what's out there. Score of 73. 90th place is the Gain Type C3. $223, 38 millimeters across, 13 thick. They've got what did I call this thing? Called it engraved indexes. Just means that they're kind of cut out. The dial doesn't have applied indices. It kind of has recessed indices. So that's pretty cool. It's all brushed. So it's not really the dress look. Strap also, you've got this kind of an aviator style strap here. Not the most dressy watch, but you can make it work. Total score of 73. 91st place, the last of the passing grades out of the box, is the Onus ON5562 MBU. $295, 39, 6.6 millimeters thick. I don't understand why it's $300. It passed the scoring system because there's no second hand, there's no date, all that stuff. Not great. Score 73. All right, and from here on out, none of these ones are recommended out of the box. But in 92nd place is the Luch Watch Retro Mechanics. $267. What does this say here? Vodagri Valley? Vodagri Valley. I don't know what that means. Looks pretty cool, not recommended. 93rd place is the Orient Symphony 3. Could wear it to the symphony when I play. I have a gig this week. Could wear it there. Again, very big. It's almost 42 wide. It's 12 thick. It's got the date. Orient's just not the best dress watches. Go to Seiko for the best dress watches, not Orient. Score 72. 94th place is the Mondane Classic 36. Looking very classic Mondane. This is the small one, the 36. And I just plugged it in, wanted to see how it did. Did not pass the class. Yeah, I don't think it's a great dress watch. It's a good business watch, I suppose. Score 72. 95th place, 92nd of the ones it's possible to recommend is the Tory Burch Miller. Yeah, I could recommend it if you swap it off the bracelet, because the bracelet is a huge penalty. You swap it to a leather strap with a pin buckle, this -7 turns to a -1. So that's an increase of 6 points. You could get this up to a 78 on a leather strap with a pin buckle. Cool counterbalance. Score 72. 96th place is the San Martin Guilloche SN0150. I think they may actually call it that. As we've established before, I might be spelling this word wrong. And also, it's not done with the lathe thing. It's probably just stamped. It looks beautiful though. Beautiful dial. But yeah, it's got the crown guards. It's got the bracelet. It's got lume on everything. It's got the date. It's more of a sport watch than it is a dress watch. In some sport watches, you can make work as dress watches. They do share very similar DNA to a dress watch. Swap it off the bracelet. I think this is a viable dress watch. Not top of the class either way though. Score 72. 97th place is the San Martin SN0144. Again, beautiful dial. A lot of colors they offer. It's more of a sports watch than a dress watch. With all the lume and the date and everything. Screw down crown, stuff like that. Score 72. 98th place is the Rotary Heritage 34. 214 bucks. Cool cabochon crown. It's nice and small. I think that'll be good for a dress watch. But all this stuff together does not pass the class. There's a lot of pink down here. Don't need to hyperanalyze the specifics, but I do not recommend this one. Score 71. 99th place, Ferrasute Rectangle. And it's not huge. Yeah, there's no problem with the size. Size is totally fine. No penalties whatsoever. It's got a lot of other problems, though. A lot of subtle pinks. Just all these minuses add up. So this one didn't pass. Score 71. 100th place, the Watch Dives WD0016 Super Black. So they've got this, like, it eliminates 98.73% of all visible light, whatever thing. It's cool. It's cool to have a really dark black dial. The crystal is probably much more of a factor than the dial itself, if you want a really dark looking dial. Why did they put lume on? I don't get it. Integrated bracelet. Does not pass the class. Score 71. 101st place. Another Timex. Timex Marlin Jet. What have we learned, people? Timexes are not the #1 dress watch. I just think Seiko, in general, does it way better than Timex or Orient. They make some cool watches, though. It's on the Perlon strap. That's nice. The Perlon strap on this watch right now. That's pretty cool. 14 thick. Don't recommend this one. Score 70. 102nd place is the Vanger Vintage Classic. It's a 37 square. So that comes out to be like a 39 presence. Because it's not a full square. It's a rounded square. So it's not huge, but not small either. Not small by any means. If you take it off this bracelet, it's possible for me to recommend it. But that red is kind of a problem with dress watches. I don't think that's ideal. Score 70. 103rd place, the Islander Brookville. And it's looking very similar to the Explorer. It's got this cool cabochon crown. Very shiny chapter ring. I bet this thing is really beautiful. And I can recommend it if you swap it off the bracelet. This one does have an on-the-fly adjust. It does? I didn't think Islander ever did that, but apparently with this one they do. So you can get up to a 73 if you put it on a leather strap. 104th place is the Rodania Verbier. I like the gold on gold. I think that's a good look. I don't like the lume or the minute Arabics. All that stuff I've been talking about a lot. Doesn't pass the class unless you swap it onto a leather strap, and then it can. Score 70. 105th place is the Nordgreen Guardian. It's a cool look, something a little different. More of a sport watch than a dress watch. Not recommended. 106th place is the Pitzman Overture date. Oh, an overture. I'm not playing an overture in this next symphony gig, but we often do play overtures. High precision quartz. Whoa. Looking like an Oyster Perpetual, but you've got the date here. Not recommended. Unless you swap it to a leather strap. 107th place. Sad to see it here. The not automatic small second. Beautiful watch. It looks really cool. But it's 13 thick. Why is it 13? That's a big problem. Too bad. Doesn't pass the class. Score 69. 108th place is the Alexander James A6 Reverie. Yeah, there's a lot of these yellow seals as we keep going. This one can technically pass. Looking a little plain. Looking like a Rolex, but it's not a Rolex. Score 69. 109th place is the Rudiger R2800. It's very big, 42, 12 thick. Minute Arabics out here for some reason. Not recommended. 110th place is the Gain Type D2. It's a cool look, not very dressy though. Not recommended. 111th place is the Iron Watch Vintage OP. And talk about a sterile dial. This is a true sterile dial. Don't see that very often, just nothing on there. The lume. We don't need the lume. Swap it off that bracelet, and I suppose it's suitable dress watch. Not the top of the class by any means. Score 69. 112th place, the Swiss Military. By Chrono. Don't forget that it's by Chrono. Crown guards, lume, all that stuff. Not recommended to take to the opera. 113th place is the Nixon Arrow. Very plain, very generic watch. I think you can do better. Score 69. 114th place is the Ajwain Tempus. It's a big one, 40 millimeters, 13.5 thick, crazy. I like the red 12. Don't recommend it as a dress watch. Score 68. 115th place, the Bulova Sutton. Another Bulova. This one, guess it's okay if you swap it off the bracelet. It's kind of on the large size. 116th place is the So & Co Madison. 5521. I don't recommend this dress watch. Score 68. 117th place is the Michael Kors Essex. And it says passing with strap swap. You can get it off this bracelet. Actually, they do sell it on a leather. I don't think it was on the website, or the website was just impossible to navigate without spending 2 hours just messing on the website. So, out of the box, not recommended. But if you get the leather one, then it'll score better than this. You know, 6 points more. It'll just barely get up to a 73 if you get the leather one. Just barely skating in. C grade if you swap the strap. So not the best. Score 67. 118th place is the Matthew Tissot Matthew 3 Roman. It's really big. It's a 42. It's not totally disqualifying, but it doesn't have other redeeming things about it. So the size is a -5, but there's a lot of other minuses too. 119th place, Festina Rive. 35 millimeter. I found 35s and stuff. I thought, hey, maybe these will work. This one really won't. It's got that integrated bracelet and everything. It's a cool watch, cool sport watch. Not a good dress watch. Score 67. 120th place, the Chronos L6037. Pretty dial. Not recommended as a dress watch. 121st place is the Borealis Lusitano. The bones of it, without the strap, are okay. I mean, it's score 67, so it's just okay if you swap that bracelet away. Again, the lume cheapens it. We don't need the lume. 122nd place, the Chronos L6028 V3 Rhombus. Clearly a Christopher Ward, the 12 homage. Beautiful dial. Cool sport watch, but not recommended as a dress watch. 123rd place, the Croton SAV. Diamond quartz. Diamond? Are these diamonds? Maybe they are. Cyclops. A dress watch with the Cyclops. Yeah, not great. Crown guards. Like, what are they doing? But yeah, I could see wearing this as a dress watch on a leather strap. Might be okay. Barely skates in. Score 67. 124th place. A watch that did well in the Gotta Watch series. I did a series on Go Anywhere, Do Anything watches. This one actually did okay. It's not a great dress watch, though, for a lot of reasons. Not recommended for the opera. Another really cool watch, another really famous watch. 125th place, the Citizen Tsuyosa. Very cool. I really like it. I mean, it's the integrated bracelet thing. That's a sport watch thing. So it's not a great dress watch. This is a watch I've considered purchasing, but it's really not a dress watch. Score 66. 126th place is the Swiss Military by Chrono. Again, there's the number, but I don't want to read it. Not recommended. 127th place is the Fairsuite 5506A. Who's the one that does this? Is it FP Journe? I think it is. They have the like parking meter watch or whatever. Yeah, this one doesn't score well. Hopefully the FP Journe will. We will see when we get there. But this one doesn't score well. Not recommended. 128th place, Calvin Klein H-Link. Describing their H-Link bracelet. Even if you swap that off, still not recommended. Not a good dress watch. Score 64. 129th place, the So & Co Madison. Size is not crazy, but it gets a lot of other stuff wrong. 130th place, the HZ watches HZ01. Another watch that did well as a Gata watch. I put it in this video thinking maybe it had a chance to be a good dress watch. It does not. It's not a good dress watch. Score of 63. 131st place is the Bernhardt Captain's Watch. Well, okay, it's good if you're a captain. That captain's probably not going to the award ceremony. So not recommended for the award ceremony. 132nd place is the Waldor & Company Constant. Again, beautiful images. They really do the product shots well. Feel of 40, the crown guards and stuff. There's a lot of penalties on here that you don't normally see. 133rd place, the Vincero Icon. Don't know what to say about it. Cool skeleton hands, but not recommended. 134th place is the San Martin SN0145. Really interesting watch, just overall. The impression is really cool. It is huge though. 39.5 by 39.9 area. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's probably not a presence of 44.8 because it's not a square. So, okay, I dropped the ball here. I didn't do the feel thing. It's still not going to pass, even if I did that. But yeah, not passing. Score should be a little higher. 135th place is the Croton Japan Quartz. Yes, there are only 200 pixels in this image. I don't know why it's so bad. This is from their page where they sell it. There's one image and this is all you get. It looks kind of cool. It's an interesting bracelet. Not recommended for the funeral. Well, okay, you can wear whatever you want to a funeral, but it's not very formal. It's not a formal watch. Score 62. 136th place is the Matthew & Son Sky Steel. This is a render. I don't know why. Just take a picture of your watch. Not recommended. 137th place, the Matthew Tissot City. It looks so bad. I can't. Clearly trying to copy Rolex, as is the watch in my hands. But this is a bad looking one. Crooked Cyclops. Poor quality. 138th place, the Bolivar Surveyor. Very boxy. Bolivar makes watches that are kind of formal. Most of their watches are kind of formal, semi-formal. But a lot of times they're kind of big too. So that's unfortunate. This one is one of those ones that's probably too big. Score 61. 139th place is the Archive Monde. Not looking particularly dressy. Not recommended. 140th place. Almost to the end. Just two more after this. The Schild Heinrich Micro Rotor. They have a micro rotor movement, but it's 44 millimeters. Why is it so huge? It does come with the leather strap. Okay, leather strap. It's just way, way too big. And look at the lugs here. 49 millimeter lug to lug. Crazy. Score is 57. 141st place. A watch I almost got at one point in my watch collecting hobby. I thought, this looks really cool. It's just like the Oris. Just like the Oris Big Crown Pointer Date. But it's really not. And yeah, scores horribly. Score 54. The last place is the Onus Sorrento. Wait, that's like the Citizen Sorrento. It's in first place. Whoa. Or is it the Citizen Stiletto that's in first place? Well, anyway, there's a Citizen Sorrento either in first or second place. This is the Onus Sorrento. It's not a good dress watch. What are these weird lugs? I don't get it. It's bad watch. Score 52. All right, so those were all the watches. I covered 142 watches. Hopefully it was interesting to you to see a bunch of different watches that are dressy. All the ones I could find in this price range. If you know of another one, please let me know. Oh, and here's the answer. The Serato was in second place. But yeah, if you know of other dress watches, let me know. I'd be happy to score them. But yeah, there's some cool stuff. The Kuoi, that was a highlight. The Seiko SWRO 52, that's really good. Some great dress watches at the beginning. I was kind of have to do this to palate cleanse after all the bad ones to remind myself there are some good dress watches in this price range. The lip, again, the gold one is so striking. It's unfortunate I didn't have it. That might have been a finalist. I saw the gold one before I finished everything. The area is looking so good. Even the Emporio Armani, that was almost a contender for a finalist. A lot of good watches. But yeah, now we can go ahead and do the runoff rounds. Here are the runoff rounds. All right, so step one is just showing you the 25 finalists. We had the top 10 ones, and then just all the ones I selected with the little bow ties. So here are all the finalists. That Bambino, just put it in there just kind of to check the box. Because I know people love the Bambino. So we'll see how it does. Maybe it'll win. Maybe it'll get first place. If you haven't seen this before, I take the scores that they got and I just shrink it down a little bit. I think to 75%. And then I add some points on top in all these different rounds. And then by the end of it, we've got a new score that includes subjective factors. So kind of 40 points added on. So subjective factors probably in practice is like a third of the score is the subjective stuff at the end. Makes a huge difference. But it's really important because as you saw the watches go by, there's some that just don't meet the requirements. You have to take subjectivity into account here. But okay, so round one is formal looks. There's 12 points allocated to this round. And what I mean by formal is that, it should be simple, sleek, elegant, muted. Those are things that are highlighted here. You want to look like this guy in the picture with the woman on his shoulder, and look at how happy he is. You want it to match your tuxedo. With one button? Okay, so yeah, this is clearly AI generated. Where's the other buttons? That is odd. She's got this vacant look. Anyway, so I put the watches in order from the most formal looking one down to the least formal looking one. And again, I was trying to follow this format here. Some of it is just kind of which watches am I excited about and which ones am I not excited about. That does filter in. It's impossible to totally eliminate that kind of bias, I suppose. Claude Bernard, it doesn't get me all that excited, but to me, this is the most formal watch you can have. It's a watch that's just really plain, really simple, really classy. Claude Bernard hits it. It definitely hits the formal thing. It's lacking in other areas, as we'll see, but it is quite formal. And then I put these up here. I think Romans, although that's a lot of dial text, the Roman numerals themselves really are formal. It does lend the formality to the watch. So that does help with some of these other watches. But this is how I ranked them, top to bottom. Let's take the Makina, 20th out of 25. 20 divided by 25 is 0.8 times 12 equals 9.6. So the Makina is going to get 9.6 points on top. This Claude Bernard is going to get all 12 points. This one is going to get like 0. So this is a big adjustment. And the rounds are designed to kind of counterbalance each other. So I have formal looks, but I'll also have impressiveness, which is sort of a little different from formal. And even freshness. These kind of counterbalance that formal thing. All right, let's go to round two. Freshness. And maybe I should have said distinctiveness. Distinctive is probably a better word because the design doesn't necessarily have to be totally original. Well, I put original here. I think different is better. Distinctive, different, new. I guess fresh is good. All these words kind of kick around in my head. That's what I'm getting at. Does the watch have character? That's it. Character is the word. That's what I'm looking for in this round, is the character of the watch. Mr. Jones has a ton of character. Makina has a ton of character. And so on and so forth. These ones at the bottom. Claude Bernard has like no character at all. The rotary really doesn't have any character. These are lower character down at the bottom. Even the Seiko. I should change this to character. Hopefully I'll remember to do that. So that was round two. Let's go to round three. Round three is impressiveness. And it's really the wow factor. So we had character, but also, watches with character will have some just wow factor to them because you look at it and, oh, that's fresh, that's new. But like the rotary, doesn't have very much character, but it is very impressive. Not as impressive as some of the other ones, but they're not exactly the same concept. Similar though. And again, this Seiko, it doesn't necessarily have a ton of character on its own, but it is impressive. It's more impressive than a lot of the other ones. And round four, finally, is masculinity. And this is another one that's hard to pin down, but I'm looking for angles, I'm looking for boldness, I'm looking for kind of restraint. This area, it does have a lot of embellishment, but it feels restrained, it feels structured. So I thought this was a very masculine looking watch. Yeah, it's a masculine watch. That was round 4, and 12 points again allocated for this one. There were 8 for rounds 3 and round 2. So those were a little bit less important to me. Formal looks is highly important. Masculinity is very important. Freshness and impressiveness, I still think that's important, but it's a little bit less. And then finally we have affordability. So I'll give you a couple examples. I just allocate the -3 penalty over the price range of the watches that made it to the finalists, lowest price versus and the highest price. There's the math for it, but the Kuoe, it's near the top of the price range. It's getting almost all 3 points off, whereas the Seiko SWR 052, it's near the bottom of the price range, so it's not getting as much off. I mean, I'm calling this the affordable price category in anyway, but you know, if you're actually going to go to buy the watch, $225 versus almost $400, that's a big difference. And so I wanted to factor that in here because me personally, I'm more inclined to go for the one that's more affordable. Like if I was considering these 2 watches, absolutely the fact that the Koei is more expensive, probably less likely to get that one than the Seiko because they both look really cool. So I'll go with the one that's more within my reach. I don't know why I felt like I had to explain affordability. You guys all understand it. Anyway, now we're ready for the top 10. Speaking of the Kuoe, in 10th place is the Kuoe Old Smith 90-001. It's a 35 millimeter. That is excellent. 10 thick. A little bit thicker. I regularly wear this 10 millimeter Voss stock with a tux. And it does slip under the sleeve. It doesn't slip under there very easily. You know, sometimes it gets a little caught up, but it does work. 10 feels like kind of the upper limit for under the cuffness, but this one makes it. Here it is mocked up on my 7¼ inch wrist. Great dress watch size. Very excellent. 35 is a wonderful size. Good formal looks. Not particularly fresh. Really not that impressive. I think it's kind of middle of the road masculine. And it's at the top of the price range. So you put all that together, it made it to 10th place. It's tough. There's a lot of things that are at play here. And so it did make it to the top 10 though. I think it's deserving of that spot. 9th place is the Lip Churchill T18. Size. So the size is sort of like the overall feel because it's got these weird dimensions. 21 by whatever it was, 35 or something. That equates to like a 29 millimeter watch. So it's small. $222, 9.4 thick. Yeah, let's look at that wrist shot. So here it is mocked up on my wrist. It is very thin. It's a thin looking watch, but its presence is not that bad. You know, the lug to lug is 38.5. I think that's good. It doesn't look ridiculous, particularly when you're wearing a suit. You're wearing a suit, I think this thing is going to look totally fine. Totally appropriate size. Admittedly on the smaller size though. It's looking pretty formal. It's looking a little fresh. It's looking impressive. The dial is really impressive. And it is looking pretty masculine, even though it's a little smaller. Did pretty well in all that stuff. Final score of 85, because the original score was pretty low. It's only a 77. All the subjective stuff really carries it up, particularly compared to some of these other watches that lacked character, or they lacked the formal looks or masculinity. That was my 9th place. 8th place is the Rotary Heritage GS 05309. Presence of like almost a 40. Thickness only 7.3. That is excellent. It's got that ugly date wheel. It's got the ticking seconds. Those factored into the original score, but yeah, those are not ideal. Did well in this other stuff. I think it's very masculine looking. Let me show it to you mocked up. It's got a lot of presence. Yeah, hopefully you see what I mean. It's not a small watch by any means. It's actually getting on the large size for a dress watch. Still okay. That was my number 8. 7th place is the Seiko SWR 064. Presence is small. It's like a 33 almost. 6.2 thick though. Very thin watch. These are really nice. I would like to get a Seiko tank like this one here. I think these are nice dress watches. I think they sell a lot of them too. It's looking very formal. Not particularly fresh. It's kind of bland. It's not too bad though. Yeah, the Seiko like tanky watch that I used to have. Man, I loved this watch until it broke. I wore this watch for years. It had similar presence. It was not at all a problem. I mean, the thing with the size of the watch is that you pretty much just get used to it. Whatever size watch you have, you're just going to kind of get used to it. I do think the Seikos are very masculine watches. Mocked up on my wrist, it looks great. Great dress watch size, not small at all. In sixth place is that Makina, the M330G. It's 38 millimeters. Lug to lug is actually less than 38 because it's underneath the watch. 7.5 thick, but especially if you swap it to a leather, I think this is a really great dress watch. I mean, I'm considering this one myself, just to wear with the tux. I think it would go so well. Just very simple, very totally sterile dial. It's scored low for masculinity though. It's looking a little bit more feminine than a lot of the other ones. Final score of 90. Fifth place is that Area Nostalgia Clock Tower. One of you viewers wanted me to review it, and this is my final judgment is that it's fifth place of the watches in this price range. 33.3 presence, 9 thick, so not crazy. The price, well, this is the affordable price range, so nothing's crazy in here. But it looks pretty formal, it looks fresh, it looks very fresh. It's very impressive looking. I think it's very masculine, scoring well in all the subjective factors. Here it is mocked up on the wrist. I think I found some wrist shots as well on other men, but it's totally suitable. Not a problem at all. Suitable size for a dress watch. That was my number 5. In fourth place is the Seiko Essentials SRK 050. 39 millimeters, 8 thick, $212. And yeah, when I first was going through the scorecards, this didn't jump out at me whatsoever. But when I started doing the subjective factors, I noticed, hey, it's pretty formal. Hey, it's really masculine looking. And then with the original score, it's on the lower end of the prices as well. When you factor all that in, this is a good choice. It's a really great choice for a dress watch in this price range. Final score of 91. The scores only go up from here. Third place is that Rodania Vavi. 38.6 presence, 9 millimeters thick, $356. It's near the top of the price range. I think it looks very formal. It's very masculine. It's also pretty fresh. It's impressive too. The dial looks really good. Here it is mocked up on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. Not small by any means. I think this is our heftiest rectangle watch. The gold is nice. Yeah, the champagne dial. I really like this one. The downsides are the second hand. That's not great. And then the date. I would really like it if both of those things were gone. Get them out of there. But particularly if you like a second hand, you like a date, man, this is a great one. Second place, making me want to go get the one I saw at Sam's Club. The Seiko Essentials SWR 052. Presence of 33.6, 6.1 thin. Very thin watch. $225. And I think it was 105 at Sam's Club. I really think it was. Man, I might have to go get one of these. That is an excellent price. Just very classy. It's very formal. It's very masculine. Maxing out both of those. Not particularly fresh or impressive, but that's not as important for the dress watch. You know, it needs to look formal. It needs to be masculine. It's just kind of a bonus if it gets those other things too. And it's by no means the least impressive of the watches. Yeah, mocked up on my wrist, it looks perfect. It looks so good. That is a great size for a dress watch. Now we're ready for the number 1. In first place is the Seiko Dolce SACM 150. 33.5 across. Thickness 5.3. 5.3, how is that possible? I'm seriously wondering, is that a typo? Is this actually way bigger? Man, yeah, I sure hope not. I wouldn't want to reshoot all this stuff, rescore everything. Hopefully that's correct. I really hope I'm not wrong on that. Really cool dial. Again, this is a JDM, Japanese domestic market. And yeah, that original score is part of why it's in first place. Absolutely. 91 is a very high score. And then the subjective factors only made it even higher. It's looking very formal. It's impressive. The dial is really impressive. And it's fairly masculine as well. And mocked up on my wrist, it's a great size too. You don't need to worry about the 33s. You really don't have to worry about your dress watch looking too small. This is a 32 right here. I think it's a 32. I just don't trust my memory. Okay, this is a 33. Yeah, the watch on my wrist is a 33. Dolce is going to be very similar. The lugs are a little longer on that Dolce. It's totally suitable. No problems. So that was my number 1, the Seiko Dolce SACM 150. All right, so those were the top 10. We had the Seiko Dolce in first place, the SWR 052, Rodania Veve, the SRK 050, Area Nostalgia, the Makina, super cool, the SWR064 Rotary Heritage. This is the coolest rotary in my opinion. The Lip Churchill, the Kuoe Old Smith. Yeah, 4 out of the top 10 were Seikos. Seiko makes some good dress watches, that is for sure. Happily. So I know people get disgruntled about some of their other offerings. Dress watches are solid. And now I'll show you the runners-up. Watches that almost made the top 10, but didn't quite make it. The first runner-up is another Rotary. Rotary was another standout. It just didn't quite get there with these subjective rounds, with the things like the impressiveness, the freshness. They're just a little bit lacking, but they're right underneath the top. Rotary Heritage Astoria. This was runner-up number 1. 35.2 presents. Only $214. Only 7 thick. Reminds me a lot of my old Seiko I used to have. Man, yeah, I want another little rectangle watch. Runner-up number 2 is the HZ Blue Marble. Really cool what they did with the small seconds. Beautiful aventurine dial. The grade 5 titanium is excellent. It's a 36, so not crazy. It is on the thicker side though, 11.5. That is one of the problems with this one. I think that the other stuff is really compelling, even though the watch is too thick. My next runner-up is the Rotary Ultra Slim with the Romans. Yeah, the Ultra Slim with the indexes never made it up to the runners-up. The Romans, it's a little bit more formal, it's a little bit more masculine than the index ones. So yeah, this is the one that made it for the Ultra Slim. Again, super thin, crazy thin. Total score of 83. The next runner-up is the Gavox Stellar Navy. A surprise to see it make it up here, but it did. It's one of the more masculine watches in these finalists. So it made it to an 82 there, runner-up number 4. And the last runner-up, I'm pleased to see this one as well. I did not put my thumb on the scale trying to make this one get there, but it's the Mr. Jones Beam Me Up. I really like Mr. Jones. I have my own Mr. Jones watch. They're whimsical, they're fun, and sometimes that's appropriate for a dress watch. It depends on the event you're going to, but sometimes it's good to bring a little bit of levity and fun. Total score of 80. All right, so those were the runners-up. And if you've watched my videos before, after I talk about the watches, I like to talk about the Bible. So that's what I'm going to do now. It's Bible time. Welcome to Bible time. I'm not a pastor or a trained biblical scholar. I just like sharing the Bible. And today I'm starting a new series on the Matthew 5 Beatitudes. There's 8 Beatitudes in this passage, and they take the form of blessed are the blank because of blank. So that's kind of the format of all the Beatitudes. It's a list of how we're blessed in different ways in different circumstances. You know, person in this circumstance, the circumstance doesn't look great, but they're blessed. And here's why. So I'm sure it's not intended to be comprehensive or anything, but it is very thought-provoking. So I'm excited to go through these. I have a chart breaking them down. Actually, let me pull up the chart. I know this is very reductive. It's probably not great to do this, but I wanted to show you that there's a theme here where the person who's blessed, these ones on the left, it doesn't seem like they would be. You know, being poor in spirit, how is that a good thing? Being in mourning, being meek, hungering and thirsting for righteousness, being persecuted, how is that a blessing? And then the blessings are disclosed over here. So those are the 8 Beatitudes. Yeah, and to the eyes of the world, those people on the left column don't necessarily seem to be blessed, but Jesus tells us they are blessed. And this passage comes at the beginning of Jesus' famous Sermon on the Mount. And there's a parallel passage in Luke 6. That one's called the Sermon on the Plain. But the one in Luke only has 4 Beatitudes. And then, interestingly, it's followed by 4 woes. Woe to you who X, Y, and Z. Maybe I'll cover the woes after the Beatitudes. But today, this is the first one. We'll go over that first Beatitude. And these are probably not going to be 3-point messages. Maybe some of them will be. Today is not a 3-point message. I just wanted to explore the plain meaning of the Beatitude and kind of pull some other related verses that have similar words or that relate to the content. And also bring up the Greek words and just see what those Greek words mean. See if any insight comes out of looking at the Greek. I don't think there's necessarily like a secret code to understanding the Beatitudes, but they do provoke us to think about the concepts more deeply. I think that's what the point is to think about them more deeply. So with all that intro out of the way, let's read the first Beatitude. All right, Matthew 5, verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The first part definitely subverts expectations. I mean, who wants to be poor in spirit? But this beatitude states that being poor in spirit is to be blessed. You know, if you're poor in spirit, you're actually blessed, because such a person obtains the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, so why does the first part lead to the second one? And what is the kingdom of heaven? Well, let's look at some Greek and pull up some Bible verses, and some answers will emerge on all this. The first word is blessed, and the Greek is Strong's 3107. It's just a numbering system to catalog the Greek words that are used in the New Testament and the Old Testament, but this is New Testament 3107. And the word is makarioi. Makarioi. It means fortunate or well off or happy. And I'll pull up another verse that has the Greek makarios, and that's Romans 4, verse 6 through 8, out of Paul's letters to the Romans. And he's saying here, David says the same thing when he speaks of the blessedness of the one to whom God credits righteousness apart from works. Blessed are those whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. Blessed is the one whose sin the Lord will never count against them. It's very similar to the other one, because when, you know, those whose sin the Lord will never count against them, those are the people who've inherited the kingdom of heaven. So, you know, in the Beatitude, Jesus is trying to point out being poor in spirit, because it's very discouraging to be poor in spirit. Jesus is trying to remind us that from that comes something much greater. That was just another verse with the word makarios in it. I think the blessed part is pretty self-explanatory. We all want to be blessed. You know, to be blessed is just to be happy, well off, fortunate. Okay, the next word is poor. You know, blessed are the poor in spirit. Let's look at poor. The Greek word for poor is Strong's 4434. Ptokoi. It means low, humble. It comes from the word toso, to crouch. Not standing up tall. Here's another verse. Matthew 19:21. Jesus answered, if you want to be perfect, it was the rich man who said he does everything he's supposed to do. He fasts, all this stuff he's supposed to do. And he said, how do I get into heaven? Jesus answered, if you want to be perfect, go, sell your possessions and give to the poor. You will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me. The poor are those that are lacking. The poor do not have a lot of possessions. You know, I think it just means the same thing as it means today, to be poor. Someone who has very little or maybe has nothing. So just with these two words, we already have a lot of tension. Blessed are the poor. Poor means that you're not blessed. Blessed means that you're fortunate, well off. Poor means you're not well off. So we've got tension already. Yeah, Jesus is saying that the person who is in a humiliating situation, who has very little or nothing, is blessed. But Jesus is actually not talking about possessions here. He says poor in spirit. And this makes the Beatitude actually even harder to comprehend. Because, you know, we talk about as Christians, like, oh, you know, even if you don't have much, like Paul said, I've had a lot, I've had a little, in all things I can, oh man, I don't want to misquote him. Yeah, let's add that one. Where is it? Yeah, let me read Philippians 4, verse 11 through 13. I'm not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. Can't stop there. What's the secret, Paul? I can do all this through him who gives me strength. So Paul can be content when he doesn't have physical possessions, you know, when he has circumstances in his life that are difficult physically. But the Beatitude talks about being poor in spirit. And that's even deeper than just your circumstances. That's even deeper than your possessions. So let's look at spirit now. If you've ever looked at New Testament Greek at all, I'm sure you know this one already. You probably already know this word. The Greek is Strong's 4151, pneumati, or pneuma. I think pneumati is probably the plural of pneuma. I don't know for certain. I'm not a Greek scholar by any means. I just know what the study stuff tells me. It's where we get the word pneumonia. You know, this word, pneuma, is where we get the word pneumonia, referring to an illness in the lungs. And pneuma literally just means breath or breeze. In the Bible, spirit also refers to our deeper personal identity. Christians believe we're three-part beings. We have mind, body, and spirit. And sometimes people say the mind and the soul, that those are interchangeable. But my point is that the spirit is not a physical part of our person. We have a physical part of our person. We also have a spiritual part of our person. And it exists separate from the body. We are spiritual creatures. And Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. And the question arises, Oh, is he just talking about some people? Or is he literally talking about everybody who exists? I think he's just talking about some people, because not everybody's blessed. He's trying to encourage us to be blessed. And how do you become blessed? By the fact that you're poor in spirit? Because everybody's poor in spirit. All of us are poor, not great in spirit. We're strengthened by his Spirit, Acts 1, verse 8. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witness in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. So the apostles were to receive power from the Holy Spirit when the Holy Spirit would come on them. That's where we get our power as well, any spiritual power we have, because we're poor in spirit. Another passage with this word pneuma. When Jesus died, the Bible says that he gave up his spirit. Him dying is synonymous with giving up the spirit. So your life is your spirit. It's John 19, 28 through 30. Later, knowing that everything had now been finished, and so that scripture would be fulfilled, Jesus said, I am thirsty. A jar of wine vinegar was there, so they soaked a sponge in it, put the sponge on a stalk of the hyssop plant, and lifted it to Jesus' lips. When he had received the drink, Jesus said, It is finished, tetelestai. With that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. He gave up his pneuma. So what does it mean to be poor in spirit? My bottom line interpretation is that this means to be humble. Being poor in spirit means to be humble. In other words, to have knowledge that without God we are small, insignificant, lacking any power or righteousness. That spiritually we are totally dependent on God, just as the beggar is dependent on others for their survival. And this is just a truth, whether we accept it or not. And the spiritual blessing that Jesus is talking about here, that comes when we actually recognize our spiritual deficit, our frailty, our dependence on him. If you can't see that at all, if you think you're large in spirit, you're not going to attain this blessing. All right, so we talked about the first part, blessed are the poor in spirit. Now let's go to the second half. The second half reads, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And this is our hope. So when you're discouraged, I know I'm discouraged, my own spiritual weakness and failings, I think Jesus' encouragement right here is not to lose hope, that we have something greater we can hope for. God knows we are spiritually weak. He knows we have failed him and will continue to do so. We're poor in spirit. And if you're grieved by this, you're really down on yourself because you're poor in spirit. I think Jesus is trying to encourage us not to feel like we're cursed or something. We're actually blessed. Ours is the kingdom of heaven. It's actually a gift to have that knowledge. It's actually a gift to understand that I don't measure up, because then I look to Jesus, I look to God for my salvation. When I'm just looking to myself for salvation, I'm not going to attain the kingdom of heaven. But okay, I'm going to skip kingdom. We'll just do one more Greek word. We'll do heaven, because kingdom is really self-explanatory. It literally just means kingdom, the Greek. But okay, let's look at heaven. The Greek word for heaven is Strong's 3772, oranon. It means heaven, sky, air. In the Bible, sometimes it's plural, sometimes it's singular. Actually, the original Greek of this beatitude, heaven is plural. I don't know why the NIV translation doesn't say heavens in that case. The Greek actually reads, if you just take word by word, it reads, for theirs is the kingdom of the heavens. So there's multiple heavens. And I don't want to go into this too deeply, but the Bible actually describes 3 heavens. Someone's taken up to the 3rd heaven. There's different heavens. And the understanding in my study Bible is that the first heaven is like the sky where the clouds and the birds are. Second heaven is, I believe, the firmament. Hopefully I'm getting that term right. But the stars, the galaxies, just the entire outer space. And then the 3rd heaven, that's the spiritual place where God the Father lives. Matthew 10, verse 32 to 33. Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever disowns me before others, I will disown before my Father in heaven. So God the Father's in heaven. That was the point of that passage. And Jesus is in heaven right now, too. When he was talking to them, he was on earth. He's in heaven now. He ascended to heaven. Jesus is in heaven, sitting at the right hand of God the Father. Mark 16, verse 19. After the Lord Jesus had spoken to them, he was taken up into heaven, and he sat at the right hand of God. There's many other passages that say it. I just wanted to provide the proof. There's actually even a spiritual temple in heaven. It's described in a few different passages, but here's one of them. Revelation 15, verse 5 through 6. After this I looked, and I saw in heaven the temple, that is, the tabernacle of the covenant law, and it was opened. This is so cool. The place where the law originated is in heaven. There's like a temple it came out of, the tabernacle of the covenant law. Out of the temple came the 7 angels with the 7 plagues. They were dressed in clean, shining linen and wore golden sashes around their chests. Angels came out of that temple in this vision. Yeah, heaven is simultaneously easy to understand and also really complicated in the specifics. You know, we describe it matter-of-factly as if it's a physical location. And the Bible does too, you know, described there's a throne that God sits on, and Jesus is sitting at his right hand. He has a hand. It seems very physical. There's a temple, and the angels came out of the temple. All of this stuff implies that there's like physical matter. But how can something be above, i.e. outside, the physical observable universe, and also be physical itself? So it's very metaphysical, and I really don't feel confident in my ability to describe it accurately. So we just got to stick with the Bible. But I think even the Bible, when it talks of heaven, just logically, I don't see how it could be literal. I just don't think our language is well suited to describe what exists outside the boundaries of the physical universe we occupy. And in my walk with God, I experience things that have no physical explanation. I do all the time. I mean, not even just with my walk with God. When you love someone, is that just a physical process? Is there, we just say that, oh, there's brain chemicals or whatever? No, there's something deeper, and we know that. It's not something that can be synthesized. We have spiritual natures. And in my walk with God, I do experience things that clearly exist outside the physical dimensions of our universe. And when I try to explain it in words, it falls short. I always find my explanations lacking. You know, sometimes I'll be overwhelmed with some kind of wave of peace. But even saying that, it's like, okay, you just had some emotional moment or something. But it wasn't. It wasn't an emotional moment. It was something, like, I know my body, I know my emotional moments when something just hits me in the feels or something. I have experiences that cannot be described. I'm not saying it's some dramatic thing. It's very, very subtle. I have very deep knowledge spiritually that I'm having an experience with God, that God is coming into my life and acting upon it. And you know, a lot of Christians talk about hearing God's voice. God told me to do this. Well, yeah, when God talks to me, I'm not hearing something in my ear. It's not always even just like a direct statement that I could repeat. You know, sometimes it's just more of a concept. But it's not a thought that I had. It's not a thought. And how do you prove that? There's no way you could to like a scientist. Well, okay, I have thoughts, and then all of a sudden I had this thought that was not my own. It's metaphysical. All right, getting back to heaven, I'll just tell you what I believe. I believe that heaven is an actual place, if you can even call it a place, because I don't think it's physical. I mean, maybe it's physical, but I think it's separate from the universe we're in right now. It's something different, something outside of it. I don't have any idea what experiencing heaven will be like. There's definitely descriptions in the Bible. We read the one where the angels came out of the temple, and so there's some kind of descriptions of heaven, but I just get this feeling that the words are not going to be adequate to describe it. You know, if you look at the book of Ezekiel, he had visions of really strange creatures in heaven. He saw wheels within wheels, and these creatures that had multiple heads and like wings everywhere. And how are we to interpret that? I mean, you could interpret it literally, and maybe that's true. Maybe that's what heaven's like. My takeaway is that heaven itself is just beyond the ability of our mortal minds to comprehend. And I also believe there's a heaven right now. And sometime in the future, the old earth will pass away. There'll be a new creation that God has promised us, a new heaven and a new earth, the land of milk and honey where there's no more suffering. Read Revelation 21, verse 1 through 4. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. What does that mean? Coming down? Like, is heaven literally right above us? I don't know. Prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." So that was a lot on heaven. In this beatitude, we learn that there's a hope ahead that is so great that our present sufferings, both spiritual and corporeal, are not even worth comparing. Romans 8:18. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. We're close to wrapping up here, but I wanted to share a really important verse that I think goes with this beatitude. It reminds me of Jesus' parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. And this is in Luke 18, verse 9 through 14. To some who were confident of their own righteousness and looked down on everyone else, Jesus told this parable. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood by himself and prayed, God, I thank you that I am not like other people, robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. He's calling out the guy next to him. I fast twice a week and I give 1/10 of all I get. But the tax collector stood at a distance. He would not even look up to heaven, but beat his breast and said, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. I tell you that this man, rather than the other, went home justified before God. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. I think the big lesson from this beatitude that I'm taking away is that in times where I'm spiritually weak and exhausted, when I've let God down and let other people down too, I feel like that tax collector, not even worthy to look to heaven, crying to God to have mercy on me. And this is the exact attitude that leads to justification. That's what Jesus says. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. The message is we shouldn't exalt ourselves, but we should rest in the purity and perfection of our Savior, Jesus Christ. There's just no way for us to get to heaven on our own. It is the poor in spirit that receive the kingdom of heaven. And there is one more beatitude where the blessing, where it's the kingdom of heaven that you receive. But I just think it means like both. But yeah, there is no way for us to get to heaven on our own. John 3:13 through 15 says, no one has ever gone into heaven except the one who came from heaven, the Son of Man. And I interpret that to mean no one can say, I'm going to go to heaven now and just do it on their own, except Jesus. Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, that everyone who believes may have eternal life in him. And yeah, that story with the snake, Nehushtan, everybody got bitten by snakes, and God said to Moses, make a bronze serpent, lift it up on the pole, everyone who looks on it will be healed. They couldn't heal themselves. There's no human remedy for what ailed them. The same is true with our spiritual ailment, our sin debt that we carry, and even more than that, just our sin nature. There's no human cure for it. We're never going to cure our sin nature. We're poor in spirit. We're lacking. We don't have the means to survive spiritually, and so we must rest on Jesus, and through that we will attain the kingdom of heaven. The action item is to repent and be saved. Please repent and be saved. Acts 3, verse 19. Repent then and turn to God so that your sins may be wiped out, that times of refreshing may come from the Lord. Repentance, just by its very nature, requires humility. Repenting means saying, please forgive me. That requires humility. It requires humility to admit that we did something wrong, admit that we're not perfect, that we're poor in spirit. And it's through that we attain the kingdom of heaven. That's all I have on the first beatitude. It feels like I went long. I suppose that's okay. That's not a problem. My prayer when I do these things is that God would lead me in what to say. And I just try to follow his lead on this. But now let's close with a prayer. Lord, thank you for Jesus. Thank you so much for Jesus coming to the earth and being with us and having so many good teachings. Lord, I pray you would help me to internalize this beatitude and just understand that being poor in spirit is actually a blessing. It doesn't feel great. It does not feel great. And I know you know that, but please help me to keep that hope, to just realize that my present sufferings are not worth comparing to the glory that we'll receive in heaven. And Lord, I thank you for this time, this Bible time. Lord, I thank you for being with us, being Emmanuel, listening to our prayers. And Lord, I pray for healing for my friend. I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace always and in every way. The Lord be with you all. See you next time.